Hi everyone, welcome. What you see here is my meal plan for the yellow buckets that I have. I have these 3 yellow buckets behind me on the ground with worms living in them, and it's been a couple weeks now since we last checked in on them, and my idea for prepping their food was to see if I can fit a banana peel into, you can see I've taken sort of double tubes here, giving them a double dosage of banana burrito outer shell. So I thought that this might be a nifty way to sort of challenge the worms to crawling down inside here to get access to the yummy frozen banana peel. When it comes to banana peel, I don't know, when it's thawing out, I'm not sure how much moisture it releases. Certain fruits and veggies to me seem like they're kind of juicy and probably do expel a good bit of moisture as they thaw. With the banana peels, I'm not too sure. I would have to assume there's got to be a certain degree of moisture content. Nevertheless, since these are dry cardboard tubes, I've got my water bottle on the ready too, so we can dampen the cardboard a bit too before we drop it in there for the wormies. So let's head on over and grab these little guys. They're right here on the floor. I'm going to get a glove on, get them up onto the bench, and we're going to get them fed. So let's get to work. As you may have noticed when we were peeking at these guys over on the shelf, they're numbered 3, 4, and 5. So we're starting here in bucket number 3. And it seems like our top covering newspaper has held up quite nicely. I'm wondering if we're going to get similar results in the other systems. I figured even though there's a big, huge hole in the middle of it, maybe we can try to drape it out again to cover up the top surface for the most part and keep it around as our top covering for one more round. It looks like we must have dropped a bunch of sort of top level bedding out onto the surface here, which is nice and damp and it's covered in castings, but it does seem like it's sticking around for the most part. I'm not sure if hanging on to that is sensible or just plan on blending it in as we check through. In such a small space, it just seems like preserving something, setting it off to the side and having it out of your way is unlikely. You know, I mean, we could always come in here with a little bit more top bedding material. So why don't we do that? We'll just not worry so much about the materials that we've set off to the side, those out on the surface. We'll just allow this stuff to get blended in as we make our way through. And now we're going to get a peek at how corncob bits are progressing after. Now, today they're 130 days in the buckets. And like I said, the buckets are 168 days of age, 130, 160. So these systems were only about 5.5 weeks old when we added the corn cob. And you know, here in bucket number 1, I do remember accidentally breaking one of the corn cobs. So one of them is shattered, and this is a piece of that broken corn cob. And I usually treat the check-ins on the corn cob as sort of optional. If we bump into some and we get a chance to see how they're coming along, then that's great. If not, then whatever. You know, I'm curious, is this corn cob? It is. And it's just so minute. It's like baby corn. I mean, the worms just keep working it. So it's not too surprising that this is all that remains of one of them. The other piece that we were just checking out was somewhat larger. Not sure where it ended up. We sort of shoved it around and it got blended in. But let's not occupy too much time with the corn cobs. They were more of just sort of, you know, let's check them out if we bump into them. We don't need to go out of our way looking for them. And if we do, we could talk about how long they've been in progress, 130 days now, and how here in this system, one of the corn cobs did get shattered by accident by me, so that one doesn't count as being representative of how long it goes. And I was even wondering, you know, when do I call it? When do I consider that as a done deal? The the whole testing of corn cob in the worm bin. And perhaps it is just the shattering, you know. One of the 3 or 4 corn cob bits over here in bin number 1 have been shattered and is broken, but perhaps once the last of them breaks and is no longer a clearly cylindrical object anymore, then maybe we'll be able to treat it as done. So maybe that'll be the measure by which we decide that the test is completed. What's this? Seems like a couple stems of bananas. So, well, they just got a nice fresh one in there. So even though they've got a little bit of leftovers left on those 2 connected banana stems, they've got plenty more to work on down there in that doubled up cardboard tube. Alrighty, well, the middle's gone, but we're able to still sort of make that vanish and turn it into a still somewhat respectable top covering piece of paper here in bucket number 3. So now we can head on over to bucket number 4, sort of already expecting to see more of the same, or I mean, it's fair to expect that that's what we're going to see down here is more of what we saw in bucket number 3. So maybe we'll even try to pick up the pace a little bit. So the paper, once again, looks like it can easily be reused the way we did in bucket number 3. And here also, top coating of shredded paper cardboard. You know, we didn't do that over in bucket number 3, so I guess we'll skip it. This will be sort of a skimpy bedding check-in. Although 2 cardboard tubes, maybe it's not as skimpy as it seems. If it was all shredded up and turned into something more familiar in terms of what we normally give the worms as far as bedding, then it might actually be something we would consider as quite a bit. So yeah, 2 cardboard tubes. That's a nice little jolt of bedding for them. I don't remember seeing anything like that, those large pieces of bedding type paper or something. Here's another corn cob. So I didn't remember seeing large chunks like that in bucket number 3. And we were pretty thorough from what I remember. Here's another stem of banana. I'll throw it over here with the 2 corn cobs that we've located so far, but like I said, we don't need to go out of our way to find each and every one, but here's a third one. Somewhat smaller, and I thought I was sensing a section of it missing, but I don't think that's the case. Perhaps just a little bit of it is deteriorating through here, like where it might crack and vanish. So perhaps that'll just be the measure by which we, geez, now I don't remember. We added grit, but did we add coffee? I know I wanted to get rid of coffee in today's feeding, but maybe I forgot to do so. Well, it's too late if that's the case. No going back. All right, we'll see what we could do about trying to be a little bit more regimented and consistent. I do like the idea of having systems that are more or less identically managed so that you can kind of assess what's going on in one of them, maybe 2 of them even if you feel unsure, but then at some point it seems like you should be able to bang out the rest of the check-ins in more of a cookie cutter fashion, sort of knowing what to expect and being able to just breeze through. And it does seem like we managed to breeze through the check-in of bucket number 5 over here. 4, 5, and 6. These are nice little systems coming along really good, and we're down to the last one. Here too, it's fair to assume that we're going to see more of the same, but here it seems like the worms have not put as much damage on this top covering piece of newspaper. Definitely surviving better. And here too, it's fair to expect that we'll bump into some similar stuff, like here too, once again, a large white piece of paper like stuff or whatever this is. Stuff we did not seem to observe in bucket number 3. We definitely saw some of it in bucket number 4. So here's the first of the corn cobs for bucket number 5 here. And guess the main purpose here is to see if we can blend in some of this top covering paper shred that we encountered in the beginning. Kind of help the stuff get into a place where it has a greater chance of being worked on by the worms, getting in the middle of all the wormy traffic. So, oh, nice big holes here on my gloves. So let's get these little guys in bucket number 5 fed. So it'll be interesting to rewatch the video to see what I did or didn't do. Oh boy, okay. I guess at this point, if bucket number 3 did not get any coffee, then it seems like bucket number 5 just got bucket 3's share. Because we're now out of coffee, which is fine. There's more in the kitchen. Here's one of the corn cobs, and was that the only corn cob? We only found one? No. That is just a-okay by me. I'm sure they're still in there, but like I said, we're not going to go out of our way trying to hunt down each and every object that we know is in there. If we bump into them, we get to see how they're doing. And I think now we've kind of come up with a good idea on how to finally call it quits with the counting of days for the corn cobs. Once the last of the corn cobs is broken and no longer a cylindrical shape, then that'll be the end of that for that bucket. So we'll see whose corn cob stash lasts the longest. We can start taking bets now for how long you think it's going to take. So that's it for the video, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. It's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.